We are back live here on your big broadcast. We are coast to coast, border to border on iHeartRadio and also AMFM247.com. And if you missed our previous interview, it is available on our website at themike.fun. However, we've got our next guest with us today, and as we go to the old skip Skype, the old Skyper, Rooney, go ahead and give me a brief introduction on yourself, my friend. Tell us a bit about yourself.
My name is Kelly Buchanan, and I'm the leader of Dimestore Dolls.
That's awesome.
An indie rock band, yeah.
So you guys have been making a lot of noise lately. Tell us a little bit about some of the different things you've been doing. You've got a lot of success. Tell me a little bit about what's going on.
We are releasing a CD in July. July 22nd it drops. We're having a release party on July 23rd. We just put out a video, which is on our YouTube. The song's called You Are the Face. It's a co-write between me and Adam Schlesinger from Fountains of Wayne.
That's awesome. That
we recorded during the pandemic after Adam passed away. And it has the remaining surviving members of Fountains of Wayne all contributed to it, so that's a special homage, and I really like the video we put out. Yeah, and that's what we're up to, is recording music, putting it out, and playing some shows.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, tell me a little bit about this music video, because this music video is amazing.
You watched it, huh?
Yes.
What did you like about it?
I'll tell you, I love the fact that you guys worked everything in there. It was a great homage to everything. You guys just did phenomenal with this. I can't say enough good things about it, but we're not here to hear from me. We're here to hear from you, my friend. So tell us a bit more about this video and how it came together and everything that you guys did with it.
Do you have any specific questions?
Well, how did you get everybody together and some of the filming and the editing and just take me through the whole thing here.
Okay, well, the song was born in 2006 or 2007.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which year it was, but I met Adam at his then studio called Stratosphere Sound. That was on, it was like 10th or 11th, I think 11th Avenue in Chelsea, in New York City. We were just writing together. It was just a rainy day and pulling through some scraps of songs, and I pulled out that one. I'd already started writing it. I shared some of the verse stuff. I shared what I'd written so far. Actually, I'd written a lot, but I had some specific lines that I was stuck on, and also didn't have a bridge, but we ended up working on that one. And when we got to one of the lines, it was in the second verse, and I'm singing about how I'm having, in the morning, I'm banging my head, wishing me dead, I barely bring myself to get out of bed, and as soon as I do, I'm calling for you. And I was like, what's next? And he smiled at me, and he was like, come on, Jodie Porter, do it to me again. And what was funny about that is that I did not say that song was about Jodie Porter, but of course it was. He hit the nail. He hit the nail on the head there, and I think I blushed furiously, and was like, "No, we can't use that line," even though it was in fact about Jodie. So after we had a laugh about that, and I said we cannot use that line. I think it was, we put in "Come on, do it to me again." I recorded that on a solo record that came out in 2008. Except that I never actually got to personally release it. We did have a release date scheduled. I think it was for April of that year at the Mercury Lounge in New York, and in the beginning of March, I was playing hockey and took a slap shot to my forehead, and it was kind of a freak accident, but
Wow.
I had a traumatic brain injury,
Holy smokes.
which left me unable, like I could barely walk or talk.
Yeah.
So obviously the CD, like there was no thought of promoting it. It was just like, well, I got bigger problems,
Yeah.
so I focused on physical therapy and things like that for a few years. Eventually, I think it was 2011, 2012, I made my way back to Pennsylvania, where I continued recovery. I think it's about that time that I was able to stop using a cane when I walked. Like things were getting better and my strength built up year by year. Soon I was teaching music lessons and started meeting local musicians. And it turns out there's like a really thriving music scene in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which was about 45, 50 minutes from where my parents lived.
That's awesome.
And actually, it was the reason I wound up here is Matthew Cause from Not a Surf. They came and played in Lancaster, and I went to meet him for lunch. And another friend of his that used to live in Brooklyn went to meet him for lunch. And we crossed paths and met each other. And she had a room open in her house, and I moved in with her. And the rest is history. Because I was ready to like step out from my parents and be more independent. I think I was with them for a year doing visual therapy and other physical therapy stuff. But yeah, so it would have been 2016 when I started with Dimestore Dolls, and it was an all-girl group, just playing my original stuff just for fun. And we ended up having a ton of material. I just, kept writing songs,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we had a lot of fun playing together. The thing about that group is we just love each other and we love hanging out. The pandemic happened, and like a lot of musicians, we were very distressed that we couldn't go play gigs.
Yeah.
We operate with goals. We were always like, at this gig, we got to learn this song, we got to finish this new song. So without those goals, our practices were like disheartened. We kind of were a pod during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We practiced with masks on, but we saw each other. Anyway, and that's when we decided to record a record because we needed a goal, and the stars aligned in a lot of ways. Gosh, the backstory of recording that. So we did a bunch of original songs, and I don't know, You Are the Fix, I think we might have done that in the third batch of songs.
Yeah.
It was an afterthought because it had been on that 2008 record, although that record never really got a proper release or promotional tools. It was the fact that Adam passed that made me revisit it with the band, and everyone loved it, and we're super excited about recording it and using that line with Jody's name in it. So once I learned that everybody else was on board, and interestingly, I was like, no, but I've already recorded that. It was the rest of the band that I was like, no, we want to do it our way. We have a new touch to add to this. But I called up Jody and asked him because I wanted to make sure that he was okay.
Yeah.
With me, saying his name in the song, like, hey, this song is about you. And Adam never told him that I was writing songs about him. He was completely surprised, Jody. And I wrote a bunch of songs about Jody back in the day and Adam kept my confidences and did not tell him, but I think he was touched that there was some song that Adam and I wrote together about hanging out with him that he didn't know about. So he actually came up to Lancaster to lay down guitar parts on it in the studio, and sang a little bit, had some fun in the studio. There was like some unanticipated moments on the track, like where he hit the vibra slap during a break, and he just, brought some joy into it. And he stayed with me while he was in town and really liked Lancaster. And while he was here, it was a moment to reminisce about old times, and we FaceTimed with Brian Young. Actually, I'd reconnected with those guys after Adam passed, just because, we all were friends and hung out together. And I think I hadn't spoken to Brian in a few years, but after Adam passed, we spoke on the phone a few times. But while Jody was here recording, we talked to him, and I was like, "Hey, Brian, will you sing on it?" And actually, his first response was, "No, I don't sing." That was what he said first, and then by the end of the call, he's like, "Oh, all right, if it's just do, I'll do it." And so he sang do, and you got that's
awesome,
Brian.
That's
and
awesome.
Chris, having those guys on it, I was like, Chris should be on it. And I think half of Chris's motivation was that he was like, "You got Brian to sing," and so then he did his thing. I actually asked Chris just to sing some do-do-dos.
Yeah.
And he instead sent me, he sent me some of the stuff he was doing in the chorus in between, so, to feed off each other. But when I asked about the do-do-dos, he instead sent me back an entire chorus of him singing ba 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 ba, and not a single do, which I loved. And I also thought it was kind of perfect. Adam's signature contribution to that song was the bridge, because that was 100% him. I had, half the song written when I showed up, but he was like, "We need an upbeat do. These are the chords." And, we obviously changed some lyrical stuff, but that bridge was all him. So it was neat that Chris had a contradicting part to add to it. It kind of made it more of a collaboration. And I think Chris actually only intended that to be in those two bridge sections. But when we imported his files in the studio onto the computer, we had to import them separately outside of our own session.
That's awesome.
And so we hit play. And it was just this chorus of him singing all the ba-ba-bas because the actual track was turned off. And once I heard that entire chorus of him singing ba-ba-bas, I was like, we have to put this at the beginning of the song, because it was just too beautiful. I mean, I thought we had to find a place for it. We wound up putting it at the beginning.
That's great.
Yeah, I think I've gone into a lot of detail. What have I missed about recording this song?
Well, I'll tell you, I love the fact that you guys, found little hidden gems here and there and stuck things like you were mentioning the beginning of the song and things of this nature. I just think that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that process with us in the audience.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me to join you. And
so what has been
sharing it with people?
What has been the feedback that you guys have gotten on this music video, the song, the whole thing?
I mean, it's early days, honestly. The feedback, I've only heard positive things. So, but I think this song hasn't even been public for 2 weeks, or it's 2 weeks today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Most people that I've shown it to love it. I actually teach.
Yeah.
And I've shown it, and one girl who's in the 6th grade who's very, very difficult to please. And she liked it. And I was like, now that is a good video.
That's awesome.
My sister who won't do any song.
That's great.
With that, that is the best feedback.
That is awesome.
But, yeah.
That is tremendous. So, I guess before we let you guys go, how do we get in touch with you online as far as social media and buy your music and contribute to what you guys are doing?
Well, that is a great question. Dimestoredolls.com.
Okay.
We have a store. So you can get t-shirts and old KB CDs, Kelly Buchanan CDs, and that new CD when it drops this summer. Instagram is at Dimestore Dolls. Just straight up, one word. We're on Facebook. We have Dimestore Dolls. That's our page also. So there's like a few ways to follow what we're up to. We post regularly on Instagram and Facebook, and put our show dates up on our website on dimestoredolls.com. Those are all ways. Are you in New York? Is that where you are?
We have a reporter in New York, but I am unfortunately in the state of Kansas.
You're in the state of Kansas. Okay, I didn't know. I did a little search online and was trying to sort through the site and figure out who is who. And
yes, our own Michael Nagy is out there in the New York and New Jersey area, so he is all over the place.
And you're James, is that right?
Yes, unfortunately I am. Yes.
What do you mean, unfortunately? That's my father's name, so there's no unfortunately.
Well, we are going to do this. We are going to play the song "You Are the Fix." I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on the broadcast, and I will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Thanks for doing this, Kelly.
Okay. Thank you, James.
Appreciate it. There she goes. That is Kelly from the Dimestore Dolls. And we are going to go to this next track. It is You Are the Fix, and it's here on our big broadcast.
Loving you so well into frames, running in rain, ruby red slippers and a glass of champagne. Here we go, trashing chic shops, flipping off cops, so intoxicating the ways we get off. You are the fix, my own fix, give us all what you got.
That is fantastic. Get a hold of us online at JiggyJaguar.com. Also, the mic.fun as well. We are going to take a brief time out. When we come back, we have got more coming up. It is your Sunday radio broadcast, coast to coast, border to border. We'll talk to you here in just a few moments.